Hey, what's up guys? This is my Diablo 4 beginner's guide for season 1. Let's jump into it. Before you jump into the season, you're going to need three things. You're going to need to complete the main story. That will allow you to unlock the season journey. You're going to need to reveal the entire map, and then you're going to need to collect all of the statues of Lilith. Only those three things will come across to the new season. Nothing else will come across. So make sure that you get those three things done before the season starts. Okay, so here's some settings tips here. If you haven't done this already, make sure that you go do this. Go into your options by hitting escape. Go into your settings, then go into gameplay. And then you want to scroll down just a little bit to advanced tooltip compare and advanced tooltip information. Make sure those two are both turned on, and that will allow you to compare different items and what their specs are between each other to give you a better idea of what is better and what is worse. So make sure that you turn both of those on. It will make it easier to identify what a better weapon is compared to your current one. So here's some general tips for you. When you're going to do your dungeons and collect the aspects from those dungeons and you're not really too sure where those dungeons are, you can actually go find them by going to your collections tab, by going to escape or open your map or hitting Y on your keyboard, going into the collections, going to the codex, scroll down or find the specific aspect that you're looking for, and you'll be able to track it just by clicking on the aspect, and then it will appear on your map as the tracker mark, and then just follow it to the dungeon. You can only put aspects on your gear at level 25. That's when your occultist becomes available to you. You can start collecting them as soon as you can, but just make sure at 25, that's when he becomes unlocked, and then you can put that stuff on your gear. I see a lot of new players to Diablo doing this in dungeons when you group or doing it on your own, and it's a major time sink as well, especially if you don't hold on to these items for very long. When like a yellow item drops or a blue item or a legendary, they're sat in the dungeon at like level 15 looking at that piece of gear that's just dropped to see if it's any good for them. Don't do that. You're not going to hold on to that gear for very long. You can 10 minutes max, and then you're going to be like level 20. I'd only recommend really doing this at the start as you start to get a lot higher in the game and it starts to take you longer to level up and you need that gear to level up. Just give it like a quick check. Does it do enough damage? Is the number green by like 50? Yes, throw it on. Is the armor green by like 50? Yes, throw it on. And that's honestly as much attention that you really need to pay to the gear at low level. It's just a major time sink if you're looking through the stats. Does it do core damage? Does it increase my attack speed? All that kind of stuff. It's a complete waste of time. Okay, so here's some tips for when you're in the dungeons. I don't know what this technique is called, but we've been using it since Diablo 2, 3, and obviously we're in 4 now. And this technique we believe is called balling. And this is just when you get the entire kind of like dungeon or area of mobs and you kind of ball them all together and then you delete the ball just with an AoE attack or something like that. When you walk towards it, you just want to walk then like around the outside, and then the minions start to collect in the middle as you kind of do laps. This stops you from getting surrounded if you are finding yourself getting surrounded by large densities of mobs and being killed. And if there are ranged minions, make sure that you focus those down first, because one, they hit hard, and two, they have low health. So you should be able to just delete them without being deleted yourself. And then you can turn your focus back to trying to delete the ball of minions that you've created. Okay, so if you're dealing with a difficult mob, an elite, a boss, or the butcher, this is a good technique. It's just called kiting. It's very simple. All you need to do is just walk around the outsides of the mob that you're attacking, and then you auto attack, move, and then use a skill attack, and keep moving around the boss, just like whittling him down. This stops you from getting attacked by the boss. He will obviously attack and hit you sometimes, but just less if you were just stood still. And you can also avoid the kind of spells and heavy attacks that they might hit you with, which can potentially one-shot you as well. So once you're done with the dungeon, you can reset the dungeon by just TPing to the start of it by holding E. Again, I don't know what it is on controller, but hitting E on the keyboard and then leave dungeon. That will take you to the start of the dungeon. And then what you want to do is escape, leave game, and then rejoin the game on the same character, and that will put you back outside of the dungeon. So jumping into resources, this is what I do with my resources, especially when I'm starting off from like 0 to 25, 0 to 50. Collect my entire inventory up, and then once it's full, I'll sell, and then I'll jump into another dungeon, and once it's full, I'll then salvage. So it's just sell, salvage, just rinse, repeat it, until you start to build your gold up and then build your resources up. When you're going around the map, just going to normal dungeons, you're going to go into world events, which are these yellow circles that just appear. I would suggest that you do these events because they give you XP, they give you gold, and they also give you loot and gear. And so it's a good opportunity to kind of boost your character a bit as well, especially early on in the game. They're not too hard to do, especially in World Tier 1 and World Tier 2. Obviously, they do get harder and more mobs spawn later on. I would definitely suggest you do them because they give you O-balls as well for completing them, which means you can start rolling gear, going to the vendor, and start getting maybe a better yellow, or could potentially drop a legendary as well. While opening the chests, they also give you some iron and silver as well, so it's definitely worth doing. I only actually found this one out the other day, but what you can do is that you can go to the alchemist and you can trade in some of your iron for silver. If you are out of resources and you need to upgrade your gear and you need them to upgrade, you can do that via the alchemist. So this is my last tip on leveling. I've done a full video on leveling from 0 to 50, and then 50 to 100 is pretty much just nightmare dungeons, so there's not really too much to do there. But I would just stick to doing dungeons. There is a specific dungeons that give more XP than others, so if you do want to find it out, go watch my other video. But if you're looking a fast way leveling up, do go do the dungeons, because we're not too sure how much XP you're going to get from the season quest. I mean, you get about 40 levels from the main story. I doubt the season quest is going to give that to you, so I'll think it would leave you at like level 20, 25 maybe. So you definitely want to go do the dungeons to boost yourself up to 50 to get yourself into world tier 3. So that's my Diablo 4 guide for season 1. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a like. It does help out the channel, so I know that, you know, you like this style of content that I'm doing. And please subscribe. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.